The Battle of Flores was a naval engagement of the Anglo-Spanish War of 1585 fought off the island of Flores between an English fleet of 22 ships under Lord Thomas Howard and a Spanish fleet of 53 ships under Alonso de Bazán, sent to the Azores to capture the annual Spanish treasure convoy. When a stronger Spanish fleet appeared off Flores, Howard ordered his ships to flee to the north, save all of them except the galleon Revenge commanded by Admiral Sir Richard Grenville. After transferring his ill crewmen on shore back to his ship, he led the Revenge in a rearguard action against 53 Spanish ships, allowing the British fleet to retire to safety. The crew of the Revenge sank and damaged several Spanish ships during a day and night running battle. The Revenge was boarded many times by different Spanish ships and repelled each attack successfully. When Admiral Sir Richard Grenville was badly wounded, his surviving crew surrendered. Lord Alfred Tennyson wrote a poem about the battle entitled The Revenge, a ballad of the fleet. Background: in order to impede a Spanish naval recovery after the Armada, Sir John Hawkins proposed a blockade of the supply of treasure being acquired from the Spanish Empire in the Americas by a constant naval patrol, designed to intercept Spanish ships. Revenge was on such a patrol in the summer of 1591 under the command of Sir Richard Grenville. The Spanish, meanwhile, had dispatched a fleet of some 55 ships under Alonso de Bazán, having under his orders Generals Martin de Bertenda and Marcos de Aramburu. Bazán learned that the English were patrolling around the northern Azores. In late August 1591, having been joined by 8 Portuguese flyboats under Luis Coutinho, the Spanish fleet came upon the English. Howard's fleet was caught while undergoing repairs, and when the crews, many of whom were suffering an epidemic of fever, were resting ashore. Battle. Bazán tried to surprise the English fleet at anchor, but Sancho Pardo's vice flagship lost their bowsprit, forcing the attack to be delayed. It was not until 5 p.m. when Bazán's ships bore down the channel which separated Flores and Corvo Islands. Howard, alerted to the arrival of the Spanish, managed to slip away to sea. An exchange of fire took place between both fleets before they became separated. Grenville, however, preferred to fight and went straight through the Spaniards, who were approaching from the eastward. Meanwhile, Defiance, Howard's flagship, received heavy gunfire from Aramboaru's San Cristobal before withdrawing from the battle. Revenge was left behind and directly engaged by Claudio de Viamont's San Felipe. Viamonte boarded the English galleon, suffering the misfortune of the grappling hook parting after having only passed 10 men aboard her. Shortly after, Martin de Bertendona's San Bernabe did the same, this time successfully, and managed to rescue 7 survivors of San Felipe's boarding party. San Bernabe's grappling was decisive to the fate of Revenge, because the English warship lost the advantage of her long-range naval guns. Conversely, the heavy musketry fire of the Spanish infantry forced the English gunners to abandon the post in order to repulse the attack. At dusk, having dispersed the bulk of the English fleet, San Cristobal rammed Revenge underneath its aft castle, putting on board of the English ship a second boarding party which captured her colours. San Cristobal's bow had been shattered by the ramming and she had to ask for reinforcements. Antonio Manrique, Asuncion and Luis Coutinho's flyboat La Serena attacked then at the same time, increasing the number of ships beating the Revenge to 5, which was still grappled by the galleons San Bernabe and the damaged San Cristobal. Grenville held him back with cannon and musket fire until, being himself badly injured and Revenge severely damaged, completely dismasted and with 150 men killed or unable to fight, surrendered. During the night, Manrique's and Coutinho's ships sank after they collided with each other. Aftermath. Despite the damage Grenville had inflicted, the Spanish treated Revenge's survivors honorably. Grenville, who had been taken aboard Bazán's flagship, died 2 days later. The Spanish treasure fleet rendezvoused with Bazán soon after, and the combined fleets sailed to Spain. They were overtaken by a week-long storm during which Revenge and 15 Spanish warships and merchant vessels were lost. Revenge sank with her mixed-prize crew of 70 Spaniards and English prisoners near the island of Terceira, at the approximate position 38 degrees 46 minutes 9 seconds north, 27 degrees 22 minutes 42 seconds west, 38.76917 degrees north, 27.37833 degrees west, 38.76917 minus 27.37 833. The battle, however, marked the resurgence of Spanish naval power and proved that the English chances of catching and defeating a well-defended treasure fleet were remote. It also hinted at what might have happened in Gravelines in 1588 if Medina Sidonia had succeeded in luring the English ships within grappling range of the Armada, and if the cannonballs had actually fit the Spanish cannon. Bibliography. Earl, Pearl, The Last Fight of the Revenge. Methuen. ISBN 0-413-77484-8. Fernández Joro, Susaria. Armada Española desde la Unión de los Reinos de Castilla y Aragón 3. Madrid, Spain. Est. Tipográfico Susors de Rivadeneira. Hammer, Paul E. J. Elizabeth's Wars. War, Government, and Society in Tudor England, 1544–1604. Hampshire, USA. Palgrave Macmillan. ISBN 978-0-333-91942-2. Constam, Anguas, McBride, Angus. Armada Elizabethan Sea Dogs 1560–1605. Oxford, UK. Osprey Publishing. ISBN 978-1-84176-015-5. Payne, Lincoln P. Elizabeth's Warships of the World to 1900. New York, USA. Houghton Mifflin Harcourt. ISBN 978-0-395-98414-7. Simpson, Wallace. The Reign of Elizabeth. Oxford, UK. Heinemann. ISBN 978-0-435-32735-4.